Coming up on Network Africa, Angolans prepare for tomorrow's presidential election despite economic crisis. Gabon's opposition leader becomes the new vice president. And lawyers to South African model Gabriela Engels challenged Zimbabwe's First Lady's diplomatic immunity. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers. We begin in North Africa, where former Libyan Prime Minister Ali Zaidan has been kidnapped. His family and friends reported that no one has heard from him for 8 days now. Local media reports that Abdel Nabi Al-Moli, an MP from the parliament based in East Libya, held a meeting with Mr. Zaidan in Tripoli hours before he was abducted. There are allegations that Mr. Zaidan the abduction was carried out this time by the Tripoli Revolutionary Brigade, controlled by the government in Tripoli. In 2013, Mr. Zaidan was helped briefly by a militia when he was still Prime Minister. At that time, his relationship with several armed groups in Tripoli had deteriorated because they felt he was trying to influence their role in the city. Ali Zaidan's daughter says the family is very worried about their father's health, as Mr. Zaidan has been having health issues before now. Gabon's new Vice President, Pierre Claver Maganga Masevu, is one of the two opposition politicians that has been appointed to key government positions in the country. The other, Rene Ndezo Obiang, is now president of Gabon's Economic and Social Council. He was previously the campaign chief for presidential challenger Jean Ping in last year's disputed elections. The two appointees took part in reconciliation talks earlier this year with President Ali Bongo Ondimba's governing Gabonese Democratic Party. The appointment of Mr. Ndemezu Obiang defies the wishes of his candidate Jean Ping, who boycotted the process, maintaining his claim that he won the 2016 presidential poll. Mr. Maganga, who leads the Social Democratic Party, served as a minister under the late President Omar Bongo Ondimba. A Ugandan court has sentenced 6 terrorism suspects to life imprisonment. The men are among the 14 people who were arrested during investigations into the killing of Muslim clerics in 2014. They have, however, been cleared of the murder of the Muslim leaders, but the terrorism charge was later applied. The court could not link them to the murder of the Muslim leaders, in which the head of Uganda's Shia community, Sheikh Abdul Muwaya, was among those killed. Now, tomorrow, Angolans are going to the polls to decide who is going to replace their president, Jose Eduardo dos Santos, after his 38 years in power. Angolans in the streets of the capital, Luanda, are cautiously optimistic, though, of the prospects of life under a new president. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, the presidential candidate of Angola's ruling MPLA party, João Lourenço, closed his electoral campaign on Saturday, telling his supporters that no other party could guarantee the stability of the country. The rally on the outskirts of the capital, Luanda, attended by tens of thousands of people, was a show of strength for the MPLA, which is expected to win the elections, but may say that he dropped support in major cities, including the capital. Angola's main opposition, UNITA, says it will be willing to form a coalition government with other opposition parties if the MPLA loses in the elections. With Angola in the midst of an economic crisis caused by a fall in oil prices, the opposition is hoping to grow its tally, though a lack of credible polling in the country makes the result unpredictable. Right now, let's take a look at who President Jose Eduardo dos Santos is. He ruled Angola from 1979, 4 years after independence from Portugal. Dos Santos led an oil-backed economic boom and the construction of infrastructure devastated by a 27-year-old war that ended in 2002. Then the country slipped into recession last year, with the economy contracting 3.6%, and that's according to government data that was published online in April, but later removed. Critics accused Dos Santos of mismanaging Angola's oil wealth and making mainly his family wealthy.